All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another trade recap. My first YouTube video was a complete disaster because I was analyzing my trade at a cafe. So there was a lot of noise, and I was using my iPhone as my microphone. Now I have my actual microphone, my actual camera, so I will be able to share with you guys in more detail and with a better audio. Just an overall better space because I'm at my office. So without further ado, don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow my journey in becoming a profitable trader in the markets. So far, to clarify, because I didn't do that in the previous video, and at the end of the day, I'm using this YouTube channel as like my personal diary. It's my personal journal when it comes to trading, because I want to document my process since right now that I'm a complete beginner, and I am finding my strategy, finding my edge. And I want to get to the point where I'm sharing more better and better videos, better and better trades, and eventually get to a funded account. Right now I'm trading on a free trial account, an FTMO free trial account. That's what I'm trading on. So without further ado, let's get into the trade. But first, let me resize my big ass head. Okay, perfect. You guys can see the balance, everything. I want to be always extremely transparent. Let me see if I can just make sure that I'm cornered up. Perfect. So right here on the top, as you can see, FTMO demo account, hedge, FTMO Global Markets Limited. Currently I just have 3 trades. This L that I took on the euro dollar, which is the main pair, basically the only pair that I'm trading on to find my edge and to get better with this ICC method that I'm trying to implement, was a huge L, and that was the one that I shared on the previous video. Now I'm going to share this win that I took with Bitcoin, because yesterday, I'm recording this on Sunday, May 10th. Yesterday, Saturday, May 9th, I found a good structure on Bitcoin, and I'm going to share with you guys this trade. So again, the first thing that I did was go to the daily to find my bias. Immediately off the rip, I see that there was a bearish movement of Bitcoin since last year, end of last year, and the beginning of this year, it's starting to pick up, and it has had some indications showing that there's a new trend. So I zoomed in, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna be a bull with Bitcoin for this trade, and I'm gonna start marking my levels. So the first thing I do after I find my bias is go to the 1 hour time frame, zoom out a little bit so I can find myself in the chart. Here am I, and the first thing I do is I see that there's a pattern that I don't go crazy with patterns, to be honest, with like chart patterns, but this was off the bat. I saw that we are seeing like a head and shoulders, right, which is a very easy to catch pattern. I don't go in depth with patterns. Like I said, I just watch out for easy to spot patterns like this pattern right here, which is the shoulders, the head. Here's the other shoulder, and I saw this level right here. I'm gonna zoom in. This level that I identified was because I saw that there were multiple indications. This indication right here, this is a indication, correction, continuation, but it got stuck in this level. How did I find that first level? I zoomed out, and I went a little bit back in time, and I saw that there was a huge portion of the entire thing. Let me zoom out even more. How did I find that? No, that was not the case. That was not the case, actually. I zoomed out on the 1 hour time frame, and I saw that I was right to be a bull in this case. So Okay, yeah, I see this two levels right here. These were the most recent higher highs in this structure. So I identified those two. They were basically exact and respecting this level. So I drew that as my resistance area, and I saw that price was starting to. Let me turn on trade history. Okay, there's my trade. So I identified that as a resistance, and then I saw how price broke that resistance, corrected a little bit here, then had another impulse, corrected again, and had a huge indication to the upside. So at that point, I'm starting to see a structure here, because in this correction and in this portion where price corrected and had a continuation, which was last week, I saw that it wanted to correct heavy. It wanted to correct heavy. And I identified this rectangle that I drew. Again, this is a concept that I really want to get really good at. I haven't gotten to that point when it comes to the in-depth aspects of the ICC method, like liquidity, fair value gaps, and all those concepts that I believe will be like the cherry on top, because I feel like right now I'm getting really good at the ICC overall. Like I'm starting to find structures. I'm going to show you in a minute where I see I have areas of improvement, which basically is knowing exactly when to enter. I'm being very good at finding the structures, but I really need to sharpen my skill at entering at the right time, at the actual correction. So what I identified here, just out of pure logic, was that the most recent indication that we had breaking that level that I told you guys that I found was this bull run right here. So I said, okay, since price is correcting right now, most likely what's going to happen is it's going to try and grab this. To me, is like the liquidity that buyers gained when they grabbed control of the market, and it took them all the way to this new higher high. But now it's correcting and sellers want that liquidity back. And it literally happened, and I saw how price started doing what we can clearly see is that consolidation within that level, because it grabbed the liquidity, but it didn't broke below that just a tad bit, and it started correcting. The price is all over the place here. We have lower highs, but then we have higher highs. Then we have lower highs and then higher highs. It's correcting. It's in a huge correction phase. And that's when I started monitoring price yesterday, because you see this is the 8th of May. And then I was kind of like here when I started monitoring price. So I started monitoring price here, and I said, okay, this level right here, this is my resistance. So if I'm bullish and I see that price is correcting this way, consolidating, and then looking to break this resistance, once it breaks this resistance, that's an indication. That's what we call an indication. So I feel like yesterday I was monitoring price, and I said, if I see this break here, there has to be that has to be an indication, and that's where I'm good. If it happens, I'm going to take that trade. And I started seeing price doing this right here. You see the orange line is where I started monitoring price action, and I saw how price started having a bull run, and then boom, it broke the level heavy, because it had like this inverse hammer right here. It rejected, but it didn't go below it. Then we had another, like this is literally a hammer, so it rejected again the level. So I said, okay, it's about to bounce. But then I said, here's where we get in depth into my trade, and why I said at the beginning of the video that this is my area of improvement, because at this point I go further into the smaller time frame, and I go into the M15, because I want to have a very calculated entry to the market. So I go into the 15-minute time frame, and here it is right here, guys. Here's where it gets really interesting, because this blue arrow right here that you can see is my entry. This is where I exited the market. But you're going to see why in a second. I think that I could have been so much better, because Here's what happened. When this candle, this big bear candle rejected the level, I said, fuck it. I'm going to go in because this is my indication. Look at this. I was crystal clear here. I saw this. I was like, okay, this is my indication that we're going to start a bull run. And then I saw this and I was like, bet, I'm in. This is my correction. We're about to go all the way up. So I said, bet, we're about to go all the way up. Let me enter. Right? But this is where I made a mistake, because look at what the market decided to do. Lower high. And then a lower low. Even here, like a lower low here. And then it kind of consolidated a little bit. And then it consolidated a little bit more, and then it shoot up, right? But if I take it even a step further, to me, this entire thing, like up here, up to here, then this is the consolidation. And then it started just shooting up. In my opinion. Why? Because we already had a huge consolidation. So to me, and this is where I probably need to expand. If you're watching this video and you're an expert and you have an opinion, go ahead and drop it in the comments, because I want to know. In my opinion, what I saw at the end is that this entire thing, like this whole movement, is the correction. That's the correction, because I'm seeing this as my indication 100%. And then this entire thing, the price correcting, consolidating, and then shooting up. So I think my opinion is that I had to wait for a better entry right here. This is where I should have entered, in my opinion, and I would have had a way better trade. The purple line. This is where I should have entered my buy, and I would have gotten way more out of the trade, because I just got $50. And even if I would have just stayed a little bit longer on the trade, probably I would have even gained more from my own position. But see how the line, it's not much of a gain. It's not much track. I was in the trade consolidating for a long period of time. Whereas if I had entered here and I had put, according to ICC theory, I would have put my stop loss, my take profit around here. Right? Let's say I put it here. I can clearly see that's and my stop loss would have been here. That looks like a 1-1. Actually, my stop loss should have been here. This is where my stop loss should have been. So let's see how that looks like in terms of the actual trade. So I would have done, let me see. So I'm doing balance risk, 1%. And so my entry would have been here. My stop loss would have been here. And my take profit would have been here. So that was basically a 1 and 1.5. Literally a 1 and 1.5 trade, which is not bad. I would have made $140 risking $95, right? Which right now I'm trying to do only 1 to 2 RR in my trades. But it goes to show that a cleaner entry could have given me that 1.5 RR. And I would have gotten a trade, because basically my entry level became a resistance. And it respected that actually a support. It became a support. You see how my entry became a support because it was the new low, and then we didn't see a lower low after that. And even if we wouldn't seen a lower low, it would, since we were in a bullish run, it was not going to break this level, and I would have gotten eventually this trade, and I would have seen how this candle right here, at this point, this candle, this at this point where I exited actually, and I started seeing this continuation, I would have done break even. I would have done my break even, and I would have increased my stop loss, my take profit. So I would have gotten like a 1 to 3 or something. Probably, who knows? This is speculation, but that was the trade. That was the trade, and I feel like the most important thing right now for me is that I'm getting really good at the fundamentals, which is very important. If you get really good at the fundamentals, you just have to sharpen your skills, and then the things that I'm still missing with the theory and the actual method, which are precisely the things that would give you a more precise entry, a more clear entry, like fair value gaps, supply and demand levels, and liquidity graphs. I feel like if I get that, if I nailed that, I'm gonna have the method already like cemented in my head, and I will just have to just practice and practice and practice. I feel like this was great progress. The euro dollar video shows that I had the structure clear, but I failed to execute. In the case of the euro dollar trade that you guys are seeing here on screen that I lost $100 on, the issue was fear. I was not sure. So fear and uncertainty and not trusting myself and my capacity and my abilities landed me on a bad trade. In this case, it was the opposite. I was too confident and I pulled the trigger too fast. But hey, we took a dub, small dub, not a huge win, but hey, I'll take what I can take, given the fact that I'm still in a free trial. And yeah, my intention is to take this all the way to at the end of the trial. I think the trial has an expiration date. I think it's 14 days, and then I will have to restart. I just want to have 30 trades. I want to get to 30 trades. I think I actually have my journal here. Let me see. Yeah, I have to log that Bitcoin trade, but I have my statistics, everything. So I want to get to 30 trades. Well, I have 20 here. I'll get to 20 trades, and I'll have my data. I'll have everything. Let me show you this because I'm huge here. So this is my log. This is my journal. So I'm journaling my trades with the checklist of the ICC method, and I have to get to 20 trades, and I feel like that will be enough data to see my win rate and be like, okay, I'm ready for a 10K challenge, for example. Try my luck with a 10K challenge and see where that takes me. And yeah, that's basically it, fellas. It was a pleasure. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button if you want to see my journey. This is video 2. This is trade session 2, and hopefully we'll get to 1,000 trade sessions, and then we'll see where this takes us. Peace and love.